Hey everybody, been a while. It's been the longest ever since my channel's been up that I haven't posted a video. Had a lot going on. That's what some of this video is about. I want to help you make a decision that may make things easier than they have been for me. So this video is going to be about big box home improvement stores and their flooring practices, their flooring contractors, and the process that they use to get your floors installed. It's kind of a, well, I think they're not completely. I think they're not completely open about how they do the process and about how the process works and who is responsible for what. So that's what this video is going to do. It's going to try to help educate you about this process and make it easier for you than it was for me. Now let me explain this as we get going. Now I'm going to be doing a walk through my house. This is my house. This is not a set, so it's maybe dirty in spots. It may have things out. I didn't set it up. My children are here. So it's not set up for this video. It's just set up for me to walk through. So it is what it is. But let me set this whole thing up for you. Over the last couple months, I had all of the flooring replaced in my home and decided that I didn't want to put my family through the process of me doing it myself, because I knew it was going to take a very long time for me to do by myself. Physically, I'm not able to do what I used to do. And it's a pretty big job, and it would just be easier to pay someone to come in, get it done for me, and get out, and wouldn't put my family through all of that for so long. Now, if you've been a subscriber to the channel, you know you've been with me when I've installed these very same floors. So you know that we can do it. It's possible. It's possible for you to do it, but it takes time and a lot of effort and a lot of money. But now I could have saved a lot of money by doing it myself. I'm checking my cameras there. This time though, I decided it was worth the money for me to pay someone to do it and let them handle it. So I went to a big box retailer. I'm not going to name it, because this big box retailer is very good about stomping out any videos or writings about their process. So I'm not going to use their name in any way. I will tell you they've been featured on the channel before. But anyway, went into them to get a hardwood flooring. Now I'm talking about real hardwood flooring, the 3/4 inch oak. That's why I'm walking. Another thing, I'm walking through the house. I'm going to be walking through to let you look at the flooring so that you can keep in mind things that you need to talk about when you go to do your job, your flooring. Transitions. I want you to think about transitions. I want you to think about appliances as we're walking through. Think about these things that you're going to need to discuss or think about when you're doing your flooring job. So I went to the big box retailer, told them that I wanted this real hardwood flooring, the oak. I picked out a color. That's a big process. I also wanted carpet in the bedrooms. So I had carpet in the main areas that were going to be hardwood, and I had carpet in the areas in the bedrooms that were going to be replaced with carpet. So you have to pay them first to come out and measure your house. I think mine was, I believe my measurement on my hardwood, I think was $100. I'm not sure. Anyway, you pay them first. They come out and measure, and they get a complete list of what they're going to need, and they give you a complete running total of all the trim pieces, all of the hardwood, and all the labor. Then you pick out your flooring, and once you pick out your flooring, they're going to give you a price of what that is right then. Now, if you pick out your flooring first, they'll give you a price, well, basically while they're here. They will email that to you. Now, here's the important part. When you accept and you allow them to come into your home to install your flooring, now, what I want you to know is they do not install floors. They have a subcontractor who installs floors. They're not going to show up to your house with the name of the store on their shirt and do your job, and you can call that store and ask questions or complain. It's not the way it works. They have a subcontractor who handles all of their installs. Now, that subcontractor is a nationwide contract. So that subcontractor works all across the country for this big box retailer. Now, the big box retailer, then the subcontractor for the big box retailer, then puts that out for contract again, and another subcontractor, the installers. There are probably some local installers to your area. They're the ones that are actually going to do the job. So you're 3 levels down. Now, in my case, the local installers showed up. I knew when they showed up that they didn't think the job was bid properly. They felt like that they should be getting more to do the job. Now, I moved all the appliances, moved all the furniture out of their way, disconnected the gas lines, water lines, made it as accessible to them as possible. The hardwood floor was in an area acclimating to the house, because if you're installing hardwood, it needs to be in the house 3 days before the job starts to adjust to the temperature and humidity. I did all of that. Okay, so the installers came in. They were nice enough, but I could tell they just didn't like the job. Now, what it is, they saw that they weren't going to be able to make very much money off this job, and it was going to take a few days to do. So they started doing the tear out. They got halfway through the tear out and said, we're not going to do the job. This floor is not going to work with this type of flooring, and we're not going to be able to finish. So somebody will call you about the job. They started packing up. I said, hold on, guys. I paid for a tear out. You at least have to finish tearing out the job. Well, the hardest part of the job was yet to go, and that was tearing out the linoleum, because under the linoleum, the luan had to be cut up, had to be completely cut out, and all the staples and nails removed. Glue had to be ready for the new wood. They didn't like it, but they stayed, completed the job. I called the big box retailer. They were waiting for the other contractor to call them, so we had a big mess. We had 3 layers we had to work through. While this mess was going on, I decided to call another local installer, another local flooring company. Now, remember, the flooring companies, almost 100% of the time, they do not lay your floor. They do not install your product, your carpet, your hardwood. They simply sell you the product. Once again, they subcontract for local help, local labor, installers. They work as independent contractors, and they're the ones that actually install your floors. So I called the very well-known local company to come in, check out my floors. Now, they came in while the other company was here. Letting you look, trying to get you a look on. This is some carpet that they laid. Now this is Look at some of the transitions here. I want you to think about some of these things as you're getting your work done. So the other company came out while the first company was here pulling out the floor, and they didn't see a problem. So they worked me up a quote to do the work, and I thought on it for a few minutes. Now here's the problem. My floor's up. My floor's gone. I have bare wood, nails, staples, tack strip, and it's going to take a couple of weeks to get the floor. The new floor is going to have to acclimate, and I'm going to have to get installers in here to install this floor if I go with another company. So I have to act quick. So here I am. I'm stuck. So I decided to go with the new company. It was several $1,000s more, but still what I thought was fair. So went with a new company, went to the showroom, picked out a new floor. Just so happened the new floor I liked wasn't going to be available for 12 weeks. So went back, picked out another floor. Everything was good. They figured they could start within about 30 days. So here I am. They called back, said, hey, we think we're going to be able to work you in. Won't be that long, maybe 2 weeks. I said, great, it's looking good. So the other company, they wrapped up, they got their stuff, they left, and I got a call from the original subcontractor who works for the big box retailer, and they said, look, you're going to have all your flooring taken out. It's going to have to be reshaped, put back down, be about $35,000, a couple weeks work to do, and then we'll put your floor down. I said, no, I've already got somebody else doing the job. So I called the original big box retailer. I said, okay, we're not doing the job. I don't mind paying for the tear out. I don't even mind eating the complete install. If you're saying you can't do the job, I know. If you're going to charge me for the install, hey, what can I do? If that's what you're going to do, it's what you're going to do, I'm okay with it. They assured me, no, that wouldn't be fair. We're not going to do that. What we are going to do, we'll charge you for the tear out, and we'll refund you your money on everything else. So I had to make a payment to the new company that I hired, and they said just cover the cost of the product, and that's fine, we'll get started. Well, of course I know why they did that, because the only thing that you're doing with these companies, you're paying for the flooring, and then when the installers come in, that's a separate deal, because they don't work for the company that sold you the floor. That's just the way it all works in this business. So I wrote them a check for the flooring. I got a call a few days later, and the new company said, "Hey, we're moving. I'm going to bring you your floor." They brought the floor, put it in my house, and they said, "Looks like we're going to be able to get your floor in within, as soon as this floor acclimates, we're going to get a crew over here and get your floor put in." So now, remember this, I had carpet that was going to be installed in the bedrooms. So it was still with the original company, but a separate contract. And of course, you know why? Because those are different installers, because they don't install carpet. So here's a look at some of that. I don't know if you can get some of the carpet. I'll do a walkthrough and show you everything here in a little while. Get a look, see if we can get a look. I'll get a good look here a little bit. Now, I want you to stay with me now. The original company was hired to put in, I hired the big box company to do my carpet and hardwood flooring. Not fully knowing or not realizing that, hey, they don't do the work, they have a subcontractor. Okay, well, that subcontractor has a subcontractor. Okay, so remember that. That's where we're at. Now, after the original company refused to put in my hardwood, we still have to do the carpet. So I have to move everything out of the bedrooms, clear out the bedrooms, make sure everything's good for the carpet installers to install the carpet. So everything gets moved out onto this bare floor on the nails and everything, and put in the corners, whatever, you know, it just gets stuffed anywhere so that we can get the bedrooms empty to get the carpet in. So the carpet's due to be put in on Friday. So I'm on my way to work and I get a call. Hey, we're on the way to put your carpet in. Okay, sounds great. I'll pull into work and put the car in park and I get ready to open the door and I get another call. Hey, we're not going to be there to put your floor in. Now remember this, I hired the big box retailer and they have a subcontractor. Same subcontractor, just different people, different installers. They have a car breakdown and they're not going to be able to get to my floor. Now they don't know when they're going to be able to get to my floor now. They're going to put it back on a schedule and they'll see in the future. Think about that. Think about that. I've already moved everything out of the main area once into the bedrooms to have the hardwood put in. Now everything went back in and everything out of the bedrooms came out into the main area and everything was stripped. All beds, TVs, everything's turned off, everything's disconnected, put in boxes, whatever, to put the carpet in. Now they're not going to be here because their car broke down. Now, that makes you think, hey, all right, I hired the big box retailer. They have plenty of trucks. If your truck breaks down, get another truck. I hired the big box retailer, right? No. The big box retailer has a subcontractor. Okay, well, this is a big subcontractor. They do all the national work for the big box retailer. So they have hundreds of trucks, right? Just get another truck. Get the crew here. Rent a truck from the big box retailer. No, remember, they don't do the work neither. They subcontract to the guy down the road who has a truck, a 30-year-old beat-up truck. License plates are, they're not even, they're expired. Do they really have insurance? Who insures them? Who insures the vehicle? Who insures the people? I don't know. Do they have insurance? Do they have car insurance? This is a 30-year-old beat to crap van. One guy shows up, another guy shows up in his wife's sedan with the car seat in the back. These are not company vehicles. These are, So this is what you get. They weren't going to do the job because their car broke down. So they scramble and say, hey, what if we get you a crew tomorrow? Or what if we get somebody that'll come late tonight and put the carpet in your home? I said, well, I don't care as long as you get the carpet in. If you can do that, get that crew there, I'd be happy. And then they go on to ask, hey, you think you could help the guy? Because it's one guy by himself that would be laying the carpet. Can you help him? Hold on now. I hired the big box retailer. What is going on here? So this is what you get, folks. This is truly what you get when you hire the big box retailers to do your flooring. This is what you get. You get a subcontractor who subcontracts, and you're going to be at their whim. What I didn't do, so I don't care I guess, yeah, I'll help do a few things if that's what you need to get the carpet in. They call back, no, they'll be here on Saturday. Everything in my house is torn up. We have no TVs that are working now because we've moved both rooms in and out, and now we have set up TVs, but total nightmare. So another night with a torn up house, and Saturday morning the guy shows up. Great guy, great. He doesn't know what's gone on. It's not his fault. Little guy, he looks at the job and thinks, hey, probably can't do this myself. He calls a buddy. Now I gotta wait for the buddy to get here. The buddy gets here. They do the job. Beautiful job. Guy's in and out. Takes him no time. It's not their fault. This guy was great. Quality work. So here we are. Got my carpet in. I don't have the hardwood. I have nothing on the main living areas of my house. My stove's out. Refrigerator's in the middle of the floor. Ice maker disconnected. Everything's a wreck. So I get a call. Hey, the new company. We will be there Monday morning to start the install on your hardwood floor. Now, great. Let's get going. I'll do anything I can to help you. Let's get this job going. I get everybody in. We move everything out. We make everything perfect for these installers, and they get here. Now remember, I'm paying this new company several $1,000s more. It's not exactly the floor that I wanted. It's a beautiful floor, not exactly what I wanted. It's a different color. But let's get going. So the new guys get here, and they think the same thing. Hey, this is gonna be a pretty tough job. We have a few things that are a little different. I have a pocket door that's going to need to be cut off. Things like that you have to think about when you're doing these jobs. Especially, even if you're hiring a company to do these things, they're going to expect you to take down the pocket doors or hire somebody to do that. You have to disconnect gas stoves. You are the one that has to disconnect gas stoves, move your gas appliances. You have to disconnect ice makers. Sometimes you have to disconnect your dishwasher. Some of them do, some of them don't. Some of them will just put flooring up to the front of your dishwasher. So, see, that's an issue. Something else you need to think about. All right, the new company came in. They thought they were going to be able to do the job in 1.5 days. It ended up taking and they worked until we were basically running them out of here on the last day. It ended up 4 to 5 days. Now, they could have worked longer. They didn't work real long hours. It worked out good for us because I could only keep the children out so long every day, and they got here late and they left early. Now, really, that's good or bad. I don't know. It worked out good for us. If they would have worked a regular shift, 8 hours, get here at 8 o'clock in the morning, leave at 5, they could have the job done in 2 days. But they were arriving around 9:30 or 10, and they were finishing work by 2 or 2:30. So it took them 4 to 5 days. I love the job. The floor is beautiful. It's exactly what I wanted. But this is what you got to deal with the big box retailers when you're doing floors. That's any type of flooring. Any of it. Any type of flooring. I believe this also goes for a lot of the other things. Plumbing. Anything that you hire them to do. The countertops. Anything that you hire them to do like that, it's going to be the same thing. They have a subcontractor who's going to subcontract. Now I'm going to switch around. That's my story. I'm going to switch around, show you the floor, and let you, we'll talk about any particular things that may be specific to your job that you need to talk about or think about before hiring somebody to do your floor. Here we go. Okay, now transitions. You're going to think about these transitions. Now, generally, they're going to do the job of cutting off the framing of your door. You don't have to worry about that. But if you have special doors like this is a pocket door. That's your responsibility to take care of this pocket door. It's going to need to be cut off to fit the floor. That one had to cut off about an inch because adding a 3/4 inch floor and a transition piece had to be quite a bit cut off there. You need to discuss with them about quarter round. Now, I was a little bit upset about the job that was finished on this. On my job, I thought we had wood to match the hardwood flooring. I thought that was in the quote, and I know for sure they were supposed to caulk and fill all the nail holes and have the trim ready for paint, which they didn't. They did, I would say, about 60%. They had the trim on. A lot of nail holes I had to patch, a lot of corners, and I had to repaint all the trim. Now, these are things you have to think about and discuss with your contractor. Like this, along the edge of your cabinets, which is special wood. You got to try to match that. You're not going to put just white trim around that. Your transitions on your stairs. Again, the quarter round. Are they responsible for filling the nail holes? Are they going to paint, or are we going to put wood trim back on this? See, here's a poor job that was done, and I need to fix this. I went ahead and painted over it, but you see the quarter round. That's terrible. That's terrible for what I paid them. Floor is beautiful. Now this is the carpet that was installed by the original company. This is a very, very, very simple job here. This is a tiny little room that I do my editing in. This is the girls' room. It's a mess. It's toys. But yeah, I can't show you the master, but that would have been the one that you could actually see the carpet work in. But again, you see the transitions against the other floors. These are all things that you need to talk about with your flooring contractor. Who's going to pay for the disposal and the haul off of all the other products that are removed from your house? That can be a big deal. That can be a big deal because this linoleum tear out, I forgot about what a big job that was. That is a huge job to tear this stuff out. Had to be cut out with a multi-tool, and you have to cut that all the way back so the new floor can go under, or at least all the way up to, and all that has to be cut out and removed, and all the nails have to be removed, and so the tear out of the linoleum was a huge job. Well, it's huge. I would say it's the biggest as far as physical demanding part of the job. That was the biggest part of the job, was the linoleum tear out. So there's some other things to think about. First of all, moving a gas stove. You have to do that. You have to disconnect the line. You have to move the gas stove. Will your gas stove fit when the new flooring is in? It's going to raise the height. Is it going to be where you want it? Your refrigerator. You have to move your refrigerator out and remove the water line, and they'll move it back for you. But here's something to think about. My refrigerator was much lower to this cabinet. Now they added a 3/4 inch floor, and so this refrigerator moved up quite a bit, and you can see I have very little clearance around this refrigerator. Those are things you must think about when you're either buying a refrigerator, because buying a refrigerator, you have to make sure that those clearances are going to be kept. And then once you buy the refrigerator, having a new floor put in, is the refrigerator going to fit in the same spot? You also have to think about closets, pantries, things like that. This is a little pantry, and are they going to take care of that? Are they going to finish it out? What are you going to do with the pantries and closets? So anyway, there's a few things to think about, and think about where you're going to be, where your family's going to be, and how you're going to allow them to have access to your house, and how long you're going to have access. How long is it going to take to do the job? Would you got somewhere to stay? Would it be better just to go to a motel for a little while? Those are some things to think about. So there you go. That was my process with the big box retailer flooring division. Be careful. I have to add a little bit to this. My refund was not able to be processed by the big box retailer, and my money was stuck at their corporate. They couldn't get it back to me. Ended up I had to wait on a check. They told me at first the check would come through the mail. Very large check was going to come through the mail. As poor as our mail is now, and you see checks, things being stolen every day. They couldn't get my refund to me the way I gave it to them on my card. They couldn't give it to me in cash. They said I would have to take a check in the U.S. mail, and it was going to be, at least 2 weeks, possibly up to a month. So that's what I had to agree to. I had no other option. I had to pay the new company, for all of the flooring, which was $7,000 or $8,000. I had to pay them before I got the refund from the big box retailer. So think about that also. Your money's going to be tied up, or could be. But it ended for me. The ordeal is over, but I want you to think about all these things before getting a big box retailer to do your flooring. Maybe you should call a local company, because they're just going to call local installers anyway, either way. It's worth paying a little extra, believe me. It's worth paying a little extra. So there you have it. That was my experience with the big box retailer with flooring. And I've got some new videos coming out. I had some new ideas. I've been very busy with other things, so I haven't been able to put out any content. I do have lots of content coming up, because I have a lot of things going on. So a lot of content coming. So here we are. And remember, they may do it another way, but that's the way I do it. We'll see you next time.